And welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. I'm Press Plus Mod. I'm Rear Admiral Tarek of the Dreadnought GCS Chromaticon as we continue our campaign against the Klingon Star Empire. And last time, well, we've been pushing more and we've managed to reconnect with the Hydran Star Kingdom. So now the Allies have almost a full encirclement going on here if you consider the Gorn, the Mirak, the Federation, and the Hydrans cutting off the Lyrans from anybody else, which I'm not sure how much that helps considering how kind of weak the Lyrans are, but hey, it's progress. So we are currently putting a little bit more pressure here on the starbase here, so let us set out into space to see if we can actually grab anything. So straight up MET-10 patrol to begin things is a perfect way to begin the day. Patrols, part of your very standard morning breakfast. Balanced in every single way. Let's red alert and prepare this ship for combat. First things first, of course, we are going to overload all the weapon systems because this dreadnought has only 2 plasma Rs that can be overloaded and the rest of the plasma Fs cannot. Although that does give us a fairly interesting amount of flexibility when it comes to overloading all of our weapons, i.e. do it all the time. Or i.e. It's not good enough. And so we are, of course, going to be prepared to cut through anybody's shield who asks to fight us. And then, of course, our heavy dreadnought, the Serpenticon, is here to support us in every single way. However, from what we see so far, it appears to be a single Klingon gunboat. So we're just going to increase the speed of time, go right up on top of him, and nail him with enough firepower to make him cry. An E4RX, so we are currently in the X era. I believe we realized that last time, that we've hit the X refit types, which means a lot of ships are going to become a lot more difficult, especially for the Klingons. The Klingons have a lot of ships that have phaser 1s and 2s sort of mixed together, because they don't exactly have the best technology base. And because of that, when you hit the X era, all of your phaser 1s and 2s become phaser Xs. So for the Klingons especially, that becomes a massive improvement. If you look at the D7 line between, say, a D7KX, or D7KX maybe, and a D7 of any other type, you will realize in very short order, I was hoping to grab onto you, but I suppose this will have to do all stop. Maybe I can stop in time. Oh good, 2.5. Be just perfect. He's dead. He hasn't realized it yet, but he is fully dead. Goodbye. Oh yes, very much so. But yeah, as I was saying, if you're looking at between a late version D7 versus a D7X or any version of the small X refit, the amount of firepower just becomes kind of ridiculous because D7s especially have a quartet of shoulder-mounted phasers which only shoot backwards, and they're phaser 2s because of it. But when the X refit rolls around, they just snap up in firepower. It's rather terrifying, actually. We're going to pop down over here. A 10-part defense of 40 and a shipyard assault, or being ambushed. We'll take the shipyard assault. The being ambushed, once you start having multiple ships, starts becoming a little bit more difficult to actually get through because you can't just sort of flee from the battle because you have to actually get your friends out. Then again, having taken this mission was probably a bit of a mistake. 1 heavy cruiser, 2 heavy cruisers, 3 heavy cruisers, and a single light cruiser, and against us, which has HMS Fearless and HMS Vengeance, which both appear to be heavy war destroyers. So 2 dreadnoughts and 2 heavy war destroyers versus 3 heavy cruisers and a D5X, which is a fairly decent light cruiser. I don't need the shuttles, but what I do need are plasma torpedoes set to enveloping mode so that we can make sure that we deal enough damage to everybody. We are not very good in the multi-ship battle. We have a severe weakness to it because, unfortunately for us, we have 8 phaser 1s, and that's our only backup fire support. We bring some truly amazing plasma torpedo armaments to the table. In fact, if I recall correctly, we actually deal more damage than the Serpenticon can, potentially, if we use our enveloping plasma torpedoes. But that becomes a little bit more difficult to work with when you're fighting against a whole bunch of ships, because in the 3 turns that it takes for our plasma torpedoes to get back online, a lot can happen, and we can't do much in those 3 turns. Now, luckily for us, we are actually facing one of the E7s, and the E7s are terrible. They're just a terrible ship design in general. So we can probably focus on one of these guys. They are all DWDs, or not DWDs explicitly, but they are all of that ilk. D5X, D5X, oh, D5WX, okay. They're basically the 3 nacelle versions of the D5, which are dangerous, but they're not quite as bad as if these were all C7s, which technically would be battle cruisers, but it wouldn't show that as battle cruisers on the long-range list. Yeah, you're the one I definitely want. What's my current shield status? 13 points of power should be enough. We will probably stop and do a full drag on him. Although if you fire all of your plasma torpedoes into that light cruiser, I will grab him just to help you out. It looks like you've done it. 2 fingers is going for that, so it's impossible to touch him. But we can pull this, which means now we can get all of our plasma on a single target. Alright, that is one heck of a hit right there. And if I can ask you to target who I'm targeting and fire everything you've got. Okay. Because I've just given him a specific order like that, it's basically ruined him from now on. He will only be able to do things that I tell him to do. I can't rely on him to pick his own targets because I've asked him to shoot at my target, which is a little bit of a shame in a ship battle that's going to be fighting a whole bunch of different things. But that's a reasonable trade-off for trying to, what I had hoped to be able to kill this guy in one final salvo. Didn't work out that way, but that had been the plan. So phasers, not quite. As you can see, our anemic phaser armament just does not really cut the mustard when it comes to battles like these. Can I get you to add? Thank you. Alright, so that's the first of them out. We're going to see if we can't take out the next one, the two fingers. He is a smaller ship design. Let's see if he can't support a little bit. Okay, it looks like he did need it. But we are starting to deal a decent amount of damage to this light cruiser, and he's down as well. Next one, we got the Divisor and the Indisputable. The Indisputable is an EDW, which... ooh, wow, actually, I was wrong. You're an E7D. This is one of the few E7s that is actually worth anything when you're fighting a race like the Gorn, who does not have a whole heck of a lot of the way of point defense. So it makes us especially vulnerable to incoming fire, like drones. And as you can see, he managed to knock out our rear shield in very short periods of time. So we'll get a little bit more long-range fire on the Divisor. I wish there was an updated texture on this ship, because I actually don't mind the design at all. The problem is that the texture makes it look ugly as all heck. But an upgraded texture and model on this thing would just be absolutely gorgeous. I do not actually want to hold on to you. I mean, I'm going to, but I didn't want... It's not that I don't want to, it's that I shouldn't. The problem being that he is too close for me to fire my plasma torpedoes properly. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make I was hoping to make the turn and just systematically fire into him. It did not work out quite as well as I wanted. Getting a decent amount of hits on through there, however, and now he's just unloaded everything on us. I do not have any sort of defenses against the rest of the missiles. So as you can see, against a drone ship like this E7, we're in a really rough spot. Let's go fire this. Let's see how he responds to this. Crash stop. Okay. So that'll put him out of the fight for a little bit. I'm not in a position to really follow up on that. Unless I really want to get involved with my heavy weapons, but we're too close to do that. I don't want to take too much damage that we could otherwise avoid. Looks like his shuttle bay is out, so we don't even got to bother with actually picking him up. We just need to fire the plasma in his direction and he'll be basically dead. Looks like he's turning in towards us. Is there a mine between us? He must be navigating in between us, because the AI would not deliberately fly into a mine, but he's dead now. He doesn't have a shuttle bay with which to avoid this, so this is just going to kill him. Lovely. A little bit of overkill, but overkill is the best way to go. There is no kill like overkill. And we just need to kill the Indisputable here, who appears to be mostly done for. He already launched his Wild Weasel to defend against our pseudo-torpedoes, so he doesn't have a whole heck of a lot remaining to actually defend himself. So we're just going to slow down right here, see if we can't get enough phaser fire on that we can actually take him out. Or if this plasma torpedo might get there first. Decent number of hits coming in here, and you did survive the plasma torpedo, which is impressive. And he actually is traveling at a speed, so there is that going for him as well. He's not completely disabled yet, although this might do it. Yeah. Alright, on to the Klingon Stardocks, which are equipped with lots of missiles. Which is a problem for us Gorn, because we're not very good at dealing with missiles. Luckily for us, we've brought along a couple of war destroyers who have all kinds of Gatling phasers. So as long as we hang behind them, that shouldn't be a problem at all. Let's go check to see if any repairs need to be made. One of our Phaser 3s is dented. I'm not going to bother with it since it's not destroyed. It'll be fixed in between matches. So will our power technically, but I would like to have that back before we actually, engage these Stardocks. A little bit more light fire coming down. We should be able to handle this without too much trouble. We are mostly going to try and hide behind the Fearless, unless the Fearless starts doing that zigzag thing. Alright, come here. I'm going to turn you into my own personal little point defense drone. Unless, you zip off at full speed to the target. Hey, he's doing a speed of 25. Hey, you want to be my own personal little defensive drone? We got a lot of phasers on board. Probably would work out quite nicely. Yeah, they're zipping off ahead, which means we are not quite as well defended as we otherwise would like to be. We only have 8 Phaser 1s and 2 Phaser 3s, 10 phasers in total with which to defend against all of these Stardocks. Even just a little bit of bad luck can leave an opening for the enemy to exploit, also because several of our phasers only shoot backwards. So they're very much putting test to our entire point defense system. With so few missiles at that. If the Mirak had to fight the Gorn, even their normal battleship would be more than efficient at being able to really break Gorn down. All of these plasma torpedoes are going to be wasted, mostly because, one, the range is incredibly long. I don't know what he was thinking, but also because the Stardock has basically a whole ton of shuttles that he can use for Wild Weasels. Since he doesn't move, it's really difficult to fake them out. Although, it looks like our nice little heavy War Destroyer friends are going to be doing just a metric ton of damage to it, so that'll help out quite nicely. Let's get some phaser fire down. Plasma torpedoes. And that was a total waste of my plasma torpedoes, but you know what? I'll take it, because it shows that the Allies were helping, which they don't normally. Which direction are you going? Wow, he is just a source of all kinds of plasma fire. Alright, so they're going for the far one. We're going to go for this one, and we'll basically just set out right outside of it and blast away. He might be out of missiles, but I wouldn't count on that. I mean, they are, of course, Miraks, which have extended magazines. Makes it a little bit more difficult to actually knock through all the defenses. Let's see if we can't capitalize. Okay, we kind of did. We're going to slow down the speed of time, because this maneuver actually requires a little bit of finesse. Because he's going to deploy a Wild Weasel. All of those were fake, except for the one F-type plasma torpedo, which is lovely. So we're going to wait for this now to go away. It takes about 5 seconds on the base speed of 7. So once this attack ship disappears, we unload with all of our plasma torpedo. It's a little less than we otherwise normally would have had, but knocked out the place the whole the same. Alright, on to the last Stardock, if we can make it there before, you know, those 2 War Destroyers actually manage to take it out. They are on top of it, and they do have a fairly decent point-blank range fire. So I do anticipate they'll be all finished by the time we actually make it over there. We're not exactly the fastest vessels in the fleet. Yep, they've taken care of it, no trouble at all. Lovely. So full-on victory for everybody. And not even took any losses on that one. So 3 heavy cruisers and a light cruiser. Well, we managed to kill them all without taking a single loss. Couple of penetrations of the armor, but not terrible at all. Tile is neutral, but then again, it was neutral to begin with. There's an Empire Defense at 35 to actually steal that one, so it'll be a little bit of work. Gonna take an MET-14 Enigma. The Enigma mission is one of the really good ones, because the enemy is totally helpless before your great and powerful might, so long as you actually do the mission properly. So a random ship spawns somewhat in the middle of the map, and depending on your spawn location will determine whether or not the mission is easy. This is the easy spawn location. The enemy will spawn over here, and they're going to go sprinting for the ship, and they will fire every single weapon they have at it. If you're facing a plasma armed race, this mission is a godsend, because it means they will fire all of their plasma torpedoes at that useless little ship right there that cannot do anything. So we're going to basically cut the corner on them, run up to them, and fire all our plasmas into it. We could stop by, make sure, okay, good. I need to make sure that I'm not wasting power or time on this one. We might be able to stop by, steal anything that might be on board, because sometimes there's a random thing in the cargo hold, like dilithium crystals, which we can steal. And you are a what? Yeah, you're a light cruiser, you're an HD5, so we're going to pass through, we're going to pick up his dilithium crystals, we're going to sprint on, take on that light cruiser. It will be easy as pie, or perhaps even easier. So we're just going to increase the speed of time so we can zip along at full speed. Once our plasma torpedoes are fully charged, we'll get a nice little power bonus back. You get a fairly decent amount of ESGs. So steal that. Dilithium crystals are ours. Come over here. We're going to prep this. They still defend themselves in terms of using Wild Weasels. They just won't defend themselves in terms of their weapons. So they won't shoot at us no matter what we do. So we've got them mostly dead to rights here. Hi, you're done for, and you haven't even realized it yet. So let's just fire everything. If you survive this... Oh wow, you got way behind me, dude. What have you been doing? Fire phaser, see if we can't break his tractor beam. The goal of trying to break his tractor beam here is to try and keep him from being able to disable our tractor beam. Because you can generate a repel beam on your tractor beams to force people who are holding on to you to let go. If you knock out their... Where'd you take that damage from? If you knock out their tractor beam, they can't generate that repel beam, and then they become helpless. Do you have a phaser or something ready? You had a phaser. Good job. How about another one? There we go. Alright, mission complete. So normally also the mission will only end once the Enigma vessel is destroyed, which generally the universe will take care of that for you. Not always. Sometimes you have to come around and take it out. But if you give it enough time, it always will. Alright, 240 prestige, not terrible. A pretty decent chunk of that came from the dilithium crystals that we stole. That was the bonus prestige that we got. We did manage to take the tile, which is another star base towards our goal, which will increase our power and decrease our enemies. So way out here we have a heavy cruiser already. Let's go prep full overload, full weapon systems in all ways, electronic countermeasure, countermeasure to prevent their countermeasures, and the forward shield to maximum reinforcement, so we're all ready to rock and roll. Let's get a quick check. Fleet screen calls him a DDW. So he is a 3 nacelled, whatchamacallit, 3 nacelled D5. And there's a second DDW also, not exactly close by, but in the same direction. So let's kick on the speed. We'll get on top of them as fast as we can. I think I want to do basically exactly what we did to the last one. Oh, okay, you're a B-11 super battleship carrier. You're dangerous as hell. You are the most dangerous, actually, and we may not be able to take you.
You have weapons control.
I'm going to give it a shot, but this ship is stupid powerful. Please tell me you're overloading. Okay, it looks like he is. This ship is insanely powerful. I'm talking 14 phaser ones because he's not an X refit, so at least thank God for small favors. He's also got 4 AMDs, which can shoot down just truly titanic missile volleys. He's got 19 phaser ones. He's got 10 disruptors, 12 missile launchers. This is the normal battleship. The B-11V may remove some of these systems. Although the B-11V is extra irritating because the AMD is not listed on the MFD. So the multifunction display that shows all this information, his AMD will not show up there, which means it can't be targeted by, say, Marines if you wanted to do something cheeky. So we're going to have to deal with a lot of incoming missile fire, which is why we're going to basically do the most amount of damage that we can to him in the absolute least amount of time. And dealing with you is going to be an extra special nightmare. He's already started launching his fighters. Oh god, that's another problem. I don't want to have to deal with that. I really don't want to have to deal with your fighters. So we're going to basically get one shot, and if this doesn't work, we're probably going to die. Because these fighters are going to run us over. It's got 16 fighters to go with it. So it looks like he's lost all of the missile launchers? No, 8 of the missile launchers and several of the disruptors. Holy crap. In exchange, of course, for 16 fighters, but... Alright, that's everything. You've given them everything. Phasers, fire, just... I was really hoping, but it did not work. It did not work at all. And now comes the pain. Oh, if we survive this, I'll be surprised. Oh, we survived it. Count me surprised. Marines? 21. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Hit and run. The target shall be... his shuttle bay. Shuttle bay. Oh, we got a shuttle bay. Nice. So that means we can now be hyper-aggressive. Because if he doesn't have a shuttle bay, he can't defend himself from follow-up plasma attacks. Now, whether or not we'll get a chance to do another follow-up plasma attack because of the number of fighters that are going to be surrounding us, that's debatable. But I can hope and dream, and come on, give me a phaser to take this group out. Come on, just a little bit more fire. He's just got a single fighter left. Okay, they're through my shields, and they've already started knocking out my armor. So we don't have any of that. Can I do anything to you? Not really, unfortunately. We're kind of limited. Everything had to be thrown at this dreadnought. That was not negotiable. So I am very irritated that he has any shields at all back. Kind of tells me that my ally did not use the plasma torpedo setting that I gave him. And he's about to die. Oh yeah, he's dead. So it's going to be us versus the Droid Slayer and several others. I don't know if we can pull this one off. Yeah, there goes the Serpentagon. We're about to have another salvo of plasma torpedoes ready to go. But a lot of that's going to get wasted on his shield. A lot of it's not as well. Okay, some plasma. Can I get more plasma? I thought I took out your shuttle bay. Apparently you fixed it. Which makes sense. Oh, that's a lot of incoming missile fire. Okay, we got a screen collapse now, so it's time to run. Now, we may be deciding to run a little bit late. Oh, yeah, power system's down to 4. But that is the power of the B-11 battleship. He took 2 dreadnoughts, basically by himself. Granted, his escort helped out, but he was just able to cut through us pretty badly. Had we not gone for him, he would have just been basically unstoppable. So that does throw us way back. We're back in a new heavy cruiser. According to this, it's CSX. Ouch, that's a painful slap in the face. After all we did for you, you give me a CSX. 2 Rs and 3 Fs. So this is basically the ship we just got into, but with now X-type plasma torpedoes. probably don't quite want to go into that vessel. I think we'd want to go to something a little bit better. But it may be the only thing on offer. A CCX would be 2 Rs, 2 Ss. So actually more fire... similar firepower. More firepower, actually, than that DNT. 40 for 32. Show me that DNT. I must see. We are comparing brand new vessels. CCH new. Well, actually, maybe. Where'd that DNT go? You are 46 for 36, so you actually do have better shields. So this will be an interesting question to see which direction we move in. We could stay in our current ship for a little while. But that's going to do it for today's episode. I've been Mirak. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to see a notification every time I post one of these videos, press the little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.